Hello, and welcome to the FM podcast. I'm Jen Fritz, and I run Fritz Media, a music publicity and digital marketing firm located in Vancouver, Canada. And this is episode number 23 of the podcast. So I've been working in the music industry for almost 20 years now, if you can believe that. I know I can't sometimes. It's a very long time. And I talk to a lot of independent musicians on a regular basis. And I've found over the years that many of them don't realize what an incredible resource their provincial and territorial music industry associations are. And these are places like Music BC and Alberta Music and Manitoba Music. Every single province and territory in Canada has one. So if you're someone right now going, what? I didn't know about that. Just look it up in whatever province and territory you are, and they can provide you with all kinds of information. Now, they provide musicians and music industry professionals with funding opportunities, and they also provide things like educational workshops and are just basically a vast resource of information and connections. Now, joining me on the show today is Kentya Kurban, who is the Community Engagement Coordinator at Music BC. Kentya is a soul artist and community champion with over 5 years' experience in music administration, event planning, and production. And she joined the Music BC team over a year ago, and she's proved to be a great addition to the team. We had a really great talk about what they've been cooking up over at Music BC in this last year and some of the things we have to look forward to next year. And, you know, I got to know her a little bit, and we just had a really great talk, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Here's my conversation with Kentya Kurban. Well, hello, Kentya. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing okay. It's a Wednesday, so I feel fine, you know.
It is a holiday soon, so hopefully you can have a day off.
I never get days off, but,
That's
you know,
fair.
maybe I'll work a half day.
There you go. Treat yourself.
That's always nice. So I know you because you work at Music BC, and you and I are in the same office building. So we're neighbors, but I don't think we've ever actually really had a lengthy conversation.
No, we have not.
Which is why that's kind of why I thought you'd be a great person to talk to on the show, because then I can actually have that conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're here. Yeah.
So you currently work at Music BC as the Community Engagement Coordinator. Is that your role?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how long have you been there?
I've just been here actually over a year. So I started last September, and I've been lucky enough to be here for a year.
Oh, amazing. And what were you doing before that? Tell me kind of like a little bit more about your career path so far.
So I was working at a music production school prior to that. I was there for about 3.5 years. And I also went to the school because I wanted to learn the background of like audio engineering and music production. But don't ever ask me to engineer a session for you, just because like I just can't do that. But I'm always happy to be in the room. And there I did admissions and kind of like their sales, and I'd bring in students and make sure that they wanted to like chase their dream in the music industry.
Oh, well, that sounds like fun. So you've always like sort of been interested in working in music as a musician yourself.
Yeah, for like majority of my life, but like being honest, like having foreign parents, it took a while for me to get there.
Yeah.
Because they want you to be like a nurse, a doctor, an engineer. But then slowly after I was like, okay, I got to go pursue this if I want to be happy in life.
Yeah, you always hear that story from children of immigrants. It's always like you have to be the best, right? Like
yeah. They're like, get the best degree you can get. I'm like, but I don't want to.
But I'd rather do this. This sounds like way more fun, right?
Exactly.
So the theme of our show today is how music industry associations can help musicians, and I guess people in the music industry too. It's not just limited to musicians. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to do that because I think there's a lot of people in the music industry who don't realize what an incredible resource their provincial and territorial MIAs are. It's incredible. Sometimes I'll talk to bands and they'll be like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, well, let me tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I'm like, let me tell you everything.
Yeah. And, you know, generally when I am tipping off bands about it, it's because one of the things that you guys do offer is educational resources. Mm-hmm. know that so many people don't understand that. So I'm wondering if you can like maybe just tell us a little bit about some of the programs that you do have like in the past or now that can help educate artists and also music industry professionals.
Yeah, of course. And like also we're still growing, right? So like I even know in the new year we're going to even have more resources. So every year we're learning something new and we want to bring that to artists and music professionals. And if people have ideas, like obviously reach out to me and let me know so I can just keep making sure that people are happy about things like that. But yeah, so we have tons of different programs. We're going to reopen our Let's Hear It program, which is a showcase opportunity for artists in BC, whether you're emerging or not. But like anyone can sign up and it's always good because then you're kind of on our radar.
Yeah.
And so that's going to reopen soon. And we do about 5 to 6 a year, I would say. Some are specific, some can go to Black History Month, Indigenous Month, Pride, things like that. But then we also have like other showcases as well. So that's just one of our programs and that's called Let's Hear It. We also have travel grants, of course. And so that's domestic and international travels. And so that's for showcases and business opportunities. So say you're going to go on a tour to like 3 different places around Canada, you can apply for our grant. And hopefully, that can just help you with the flights or the car, hotels, things like that. But it just helps, put a little bit of something in your pocket while you're traveling because it's not easy for artists to be able to afford to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And not all shows are going to be a hit, right? So we try to help in any way that we can with that. I've been running a program called Jumpstart, which has been an amazing program this year, honestly. So it's kind of like a mentorship program. You get to look at a list of our consultants and I get to pair you up with hopefully somebody that you want. You'll choose your top 3 and you'll choose topics that relate to the consultants and you get a 1-hour session for them. So it's free for them. We pay for it. And you can just ask about things that you probably have been wondering for a while, whether that's marketing, whether that's branding, whether it's about tours or, hey, I just got a grant for $10,000. How do I spend this properly? Things like that. And I honestly have been getting such good feedback about it. And we're for sure bringing that one back in 2022. Like, it was hands down like one of the best things that we probably were able to do this year for artists. And just because, like it's just been a difficult time, right?
Yeah, so it sure has.
Yeah, exactly. So there was that. And then we also did an educational series this past year. And we had some really important conversations that we needed to have. We talked about diversity. We talked about people who are in wheelchairs, like how do they go to shows if there's only staircases at these venues and things like that, right? Like it made me learn a lot even, and we need to still keep having these conversations. And so we're going to continue that also next year as well. And then next year, we're also going to have like a resource library with like lots of video, and hopefully that just helps people understand more about the industry and just hopefully helps them grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've heard a little talk about how you're going to grow the educational side, and I think that's fantastic. I know even just for us, there's such a barrier because the music industry is basically the tech industry, so the barrier to access, if you don't understand a lot of things, although I do say to musicians, the internet is there to help you, but it can be overwhelming, right? Like there's so many things that you need to understand that I think that becomes overwhelming. So the idea of having sort of like a instructional side or, how-tos or that sort of thing, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
With the Jumpstart, it's mainly like a mentorship type thing, right? Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. But so we're able to provide at least like 1 session per person. I know a lot of people are like, I want 2. And I'm like, hold on. I want to make sure everyone gets 1,
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need that 1 to be able just to push yourself a little bit, right? Like sometimes you're just so stuck on not understanding things. Like we don't have 1,000 managers in BC. So like, people are, as you said, are doing a lot of it on their own and they don't know what to do, right? So sometimes just being able to have that conversation, it just helps you just take your next step.
Yeah, it's true. I know artists get so overwhelmed. I really do totally feel for them. And, you talk to these musicians all the time as part of your job. So you hear their frustrations. I'm wondering, when you talk to them, what would you say is like the biggest thing that they come to you for? Like, what's the biggest question maybe that you get asked?
Honestly, like, again, I've said this, so like I don't think anyone has like managers. So I don't think sometimes like people know how to like book themselves properly. So I think a lot of people lately have been asking me like, how do I, like, is there any companies that can book me for shows? Like, I think some people, now that they've had this long break because of COVID, I think they're just ready to go back on stage. And some people just don't even know where to begin with that. So they're like, is there any companies that I can reach out to so I can start playing more shows? I've made so much music in the past year and a half, and I just want to play it for people. And I'm like, here's a couple companies. And I'm like, just trying to help them as much as I can. But everyone kind of needs something different.
Yeah, that's true. And also, booking shows is the last thing I would ever want to do in the music industry. Like booking agents, God love them, but I would never. That's why I feel for bands, because they're like, this is a lot of work. I don't want to do it.
I know, exactly.
So, you were mentioning that you do a lot of international trips and, not just domestic trips. There's a lot of international opportunities. You could send BC bands to music festivals and conferences overseas and, obviously tour funding. But with COVID, obviously, you haven't been able to do that. So what kinds of things have you been offering instead of that? I know you were, doing some streaming workshops and that sort of thing. Are you still offering those or?
Yeah. So all our how-to series are online on our YouTube. So just go to Music BC on YouTube. And then we kind of did those Let's Hear It sessions as well, like those showcases, but there was no crowd. So we just had to stream it online.
Yeah.
So we were able to also do that. We did even some smaller, Let's Hear It. It was called Sessions. We did it at the Garden Strathcona, and we were just able to bring in some acoustic artists, and they were just able to play a set. And then we just aired it during lunch hours, so people can just enjoy 15 minutes of music.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we definitely had to cancel all trips and things like that just because it wasn't safe. And slowly with things opening, hopefully more festivals are able to happen, and hopefully, more artists are interested in going. And again, we're going to have travel grants. So if people do apply for these festivals, they need some funding. Hopefully they just apply for the travel grant and they're able to get it. Obviously it's not guaranteed, but hopefully they make a little tour out of it. And maybe they can get some funding out of it too.
No, that would be amazing. So you've been with Music BC, you said, for a year, Jess. So you started during COVID.
I have only understood this industry in COVID, it feels
That's a really interesting perspective, because normally would you have been doing traveling, doing more of that, or is that more something that Lindsay and Jimmy that you work with would do more?
I think that would be more them. If anything, if there was anything to do with British Columbia, I would probably be the one that would go for it, just because I deal with the membership, right? So my job is to make sure people understand the value of Music BC and things like that, and I can go and represent the province. So that would be me in BC. I think Lindsay and Jimmy would hold down the other places.
Oh, they would.
Yeah.
I have no question.
No, yeah, for sure.
I was talking about how artists don't understand how music industry associations can help musicians. Outside of our provincial and territorial MIAs, are there any specific industry associations in Canada that you think are particularly helpful for musicians?
Yeah, of course. Factor Canada, a lot of people don't understand the grant system, and it's hard. It's a hard thing to understand, to be honest. But yeah, so Factor Canada has grants as well for artists. So you can get $2,000 just as an artist development grant. And I think it just got announced, but it's just nice to see some of my friends who have been trying to get that finally got it. It takes time, right? And then also Creative BC, which is here, they also have grants as well for artists and things like that, and companies. And then there's a lot of smaller ones, and hopefully, next year I start to learn more and we can share more. But if you follow our newsletter, we put all the funding grants at the bottom of our newsletter, and sometimes there's 8 to 10. And it's just a way for artists, just sign up, just go for it, right? Because at the end of the day, you might be able to get it.
No, you never know. We have so many funding opportunities in this country. We're very, very lucky.
Exactly.
But it's hard. You do have to apply a lot of times sometimes to get it, because everyone's applying for it. So
exactly. And people have been applying prior, right? So they got denied already, and they're like, well, I'm still going to go for it.
Yeah, it's crazy. But we are especially in this province, because we have Creative BC as well as Music BC. So yeah I know that artists are very, very lucky that way. Well, we're all lucky, actually, the music industry.
I think we're lucky in Canada, because every time you talk to somebody outside of Canada, they're like, wait, you can get free money?
Yeah. They're like, excuse me?
Yeah, they're like, how does that work? And who do I marry to move there? I'm like, exactly.
What's that all about?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you're going to have more of an educational series coming in 2022. Is there anything else that you can tell us about? I know that it's probably a lot of stuff that's kind of top secret.
No, not even top secret. Honestly, me and Jimmy were just kind of talking about this today. So we just had our AGM recently, and a lot of the stuff that we do in like the new year, it relates to people filling out our member survey. So, when people are like, well, why didn't you do this? I'm like, well, why didn't you fill out the survey? Like this stuff is so important to us. Like this is how we know what we can do. But, like one of the topics that was brought up at the AGM was like around mental health, right? And so just even having a conversation with Jimmy, which is so nice and refreshing just to like have these conversations too. But, we're trying to figure out how we can have this conversation. And I'm like, yeah, like let's go to our Instagram stories and maybe put up a poll and see like what's really important for people's mental health. What are the topics that we should talk about and things like that? And should we do it on a weekday or a weekend? Like, we just want to make sure that people get to take advantage of these things that we're running.
Yeah.
And again, during COVID, a lot of this stuff was free or pay what you can, right? And a lot of the times the stuff we did, we just donated it to causes. So I'm sure mental health will be a topic again. And we've talked a lot about diversity already too last year. So we can kind of switch the conversation. I think we're just going to keep continuing, just making sure that we focus on topics that are really important and maybe even uncomfortable at the same time, just so we can start talking about it and getting comfortable, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I obviously happy to talk about mental health because I think like the more you talk about it, the less stigma there is. And it is such a problem, not just for people in the music industry, but everybody right now because COVID is, it's making it hard to.
And I think when you grow up too, it's just like the more you learn about yourself, right? So you're just like,
oh, yeah.
Ooh, like I realized I had anxiety like 2 years ago. Now I'm like, I'm an anxious person.
Yeah, look out, everyone. That's like when I got diagnosed with ADHD. I was like, oh, well, everything makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Oh, it all comes together.
Yeah. You're like, thank you. I was wondering.
It's nice when that happens, actually. It was just like, oh, that's right. I'm not lazy. I'm not stupid. It's actually something. So you mentioned that you just had your AGM, which you have once a year, and you have some brand new board members. I've also noticed in the last few years that your board has become quite diverse, which is incredible. I wondered if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have 3 new board members, and then there's 3 others that were already part of the board, but the 3 newest ones right now are Nimkish, G-Love, and Francis, and it's just honestly so nice. Obviously, I'm a person of color. And I'm only saying obviously because you know who I am.
Because I can see you right now, yes.
You know who I am. But, it's just like, I always tell everyone, I'm like, like coming to this job, it could be scary just because like, there's just been past life and you just know. The industry used to be different back in the day. And it's just nice to be part of this company and having Lindsay as a boss and, like, the conversations I get to have with her, it's like, I'm just not afraid to have them.
Yeah.
Where, before it's just like, it was so hard to just like be so honest about so many topics and talking to Jimmy about these conversations. And Emily's part of this team too, and she's also BIPOC. It's just super refreshing. And the people who are on our board deserve to be on that board at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's not a checklist. It's just who they are and they're part of this board and they deserve to be in that spot and they work hard in the industry and the community. And it's just so nice they get to be part of Music BC. Like it's just stunning. Every time I look at it, I'm like, damn, they look good. Like it looks so good.
It does. I was so happy when I saw it. I was like that, like just to see the shift from what it was to that, I'm like, that's incredible. So good work to all of you for recognizing that, that needed to happen.
Yeah, and like thanks to my boss for making this place a comfortable place for us to work at.
Yay, Lindsay!
Yeah, shout out to Lindsay.
We love Lindsay. Amazing. All right, so is there anything else that you want to like before we wrap this up? Is there anything else that you want to tell musicians or tell people about Music BC?
Yeah, like I feel like the nice thing is like I am here to support members, and at the end of the day, like that's what my job is to do. If you release a song, we can share it. We can put it on. We have a new Music Friday every Friday, and we just share it on our story. And it's nice to see people be like, "Oh my gosh, thanks so much for sharing these," and just getting the support from us too. And it's an easy support. We'll share it on our newsletter. I always have space for like Member of the Week too. So we're slowly building our member portal too. So like once you can like log into your account, you can go on the member portal and start submitting a ton of stuff, whether it's music, a music video, video, whatever it is. We love getting that type of stuff because we will share it, right? So
yeah, of course.
I just want artists to know like there's that support of things. And if you're ever stuck and you don't know any resources, like email me or info@musicbc.org. And if we have the resource or a link to something, we will share it. Like I always share your stuff, by the way, Jen.
Yay!
Because people are always looking for PR, right? So I just send like the only 3 PRs I know and I'm like, here it is. And it's just easy to do. So I just like want people to know like we have some of the resources. We might not have 100% of them, but if we can figure out, we will, of course. But yeah, just like always reach out and make sure you're sharing your music with us. And if you're frustrated about something, like email me and I can see if I can help that in any way. But yeah, we're totally here to support artists, and hopefully everyone gets a chance and feels happy and feels good. And please like join the conversations that we have and join the how-tos. Like we do this for artists. And
yeah, it's there for you.
Exactly. And if you can't make it, we'll send you the video or it'll be on YouTube later. But we have tons of resources, so please take advantage of them.
Yeah. You have questions? You go to Music BC and they will answer for you.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that seems like a good time to head on over to our fresh content segment. Now,
Sweet.
Yippee! Every week on the show, we discuss our favorite piece of music content for the week. And we always like to start with the guest.
Okay.
So what do you got for us?
I'm going to give you Pip Millette. Motion Sick is like the EP.
Okay.
It's a UK artist. She does R&B and soul.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's my girl.
Love it.
I listen to her like every single day. And if I'm not listening to her, I'm watching the Jasmine Sullivan Tiny Desk.
Oh, I love it. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
That is a very good one. Those are two great picks. Mine is kind of like an obscure one this week because I was having a hard time thinking of one. So it's kind of like more of an idea than something concrete. But what it is the act of sharing music with people. Like I have a Spotify playlist where I put all of the new music that I like. So if I hear a new song, I put it on there and then I share it with my friends. And it's like, like it's just specifically like, here's the songs I like in 2021. And I've done it for every year. Because when you work in the music industry, your friends are always like, what's some new music I might like? Do you know anything new? Because I don't anymore. Yeah. And I've been updating it a lot and sharing it with friends, and it just starts those conversations. And my favorite thing in the world is just, talking about music I love with people.
Me too.
Yeah, it's the best. It's kind of like, playlists are mixtapes. So it's just, if you haven't shared a playlist with a friend in a while, I say do it.
Yeah. I mean, too bad we can't burn CDs anymore, but yes, make your friend a playlist.
Yeah, it's nice. It's just, I don't know. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, I agree.
My favorite night ever is like when you have friends over and you're all playing your favorite songs.
I know. And like just add to the queue. Let's keep it growing.
Keep it going, guys. Yeah. Keep it going.
I love that.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. And is there anything else you want to plug, or do you think we got it all covered?
I think we got it all. I always just tell people, I learned this from one of my mentors, Rick LV, but you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. So
that's right, man.
Do it.
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to get out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Just embrace fear, man.
Exactly. And thank you so much for having me and Music BC in this conversation.
Yeah, thanks for coming. It was so easy to book you because you're in the same building. So
same building, down the hall.
It was awesome. Well, you have a good rest of your day, and thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
That was such a great conversation. I really hope you liked it. And thanks again to Kentya for coming on the show. Thanks so much for listening to the FM podcast. If you like the show, please tell your friends and give us a rating and review in Apple Podcasts. The FM podcast is produced by Fritz Media with production assistance from Carla J. If you want to learn more about Fritz Media, check out our website at fritzmedia.ca. And you can follow us on Facebook, we're at Fritz Media, and on Instagram and Twitter at Fritz_media. And if you want to learn more about the podcast, go to thefmpodcast.com. A big thank you to Said the Whale for providing the theme music for the show, and you can learn more about them at saidthewhale.com. Okay, so we're going to go out with our song of the week this week, which is from a Fritz Media client and also a band from BC. This is Leather Apron Revival with their latest single, stagehand.
Third wife, and she was real nice. Was the first time she had let her baby go. He was a stagehand, touring with the band, earning 20 grand, lived a life she would never know. If you don't look fast, you won't see what's coming. He's looking for love, he might pass up nothing. Surprise! Stage lights was a drug money can't buy to survive this life, but his whole world is a lie. A surprise, the stage lights was a drug money can't buy to survive this life, but his whole world was a lie. Written in a song, doing what I stole, never calling home to a voice that don't sound right. He's a no-name, a second-hand flame, ain't no one else to blame when he's dead out night. Hey. Cause if you don't look fast, you won't see what's coming. He's looking for love, he don't pass up for nothing. Surprise! Stage lights was a drug money can't buy to survive this life, but his whole world is a lie. A surprise, the stage lights was a drug money can't buy to survive this life, but his whole world is a lie. He's gonna go down with a lie he cannot face. Yeah, he's coming home, but what he doesn't know, she's gone to Mexico with his car and no suitcase. Cause if you don't look fast, you won't see what's coming. He's looking for love, he don't have passed up for nothing. Surprise, the stage lights was a drug money can't buy to survive this life, but his whole world is a lie. A surprise, the stage lights was a drug money can't buy to survive this life, but his whole world is a
Bye. I'll see you next Tuesday.